Shit, where the hell did that come from? That's
Added
super
an
weird.
extra ER.
How the fuck do I change that?
I don't know how you change that.
What the hell
Even
is going
more
on?
less humble.
You're on private
can't-
anyway. Nobody cares.
They won't even let me change it. Oh well, I guess that's my name today.
Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 114. This week we were reviewing the Elvis movie called Elvis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deej, Dex, how we doing? I just got out of this movie.
Well, the good.
I'm
You're
doing
fresh.
good. I went and saw a movie that was delightful called Mr. Malcolm's List. A Bridgerton knockoff, but I was feeling the vibes.
I got to tell you, I haven't even seen a preview for that movie.
I hadn't either until like yesterday, and then I went and saw it.
Speaking of previews, you know what preview that I saw, Dex, that you mentioned, and we'll get into Elvis here in a second. The preview for the movie that was like, oh, this is a story from Wonder, but it's about the Holocaust.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what the
What?
fuck is that?
Have you seen that trailer, Teej? Did you see that?
No, I have not.
I think it's called like White Bird or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
When I went to this movie, I missed the. I walked in right as it was starting, so I didn't see the previews.
Yeah. So the movie Wonder from 2000, I don't know, 17 or something.
something like that. Owen Wilson's in it.
Jennifer Garner's in it. It's about a boy who has some deformities, but he is bullied and so on. It's one of those stories, and it was a very popular book. But they have a movie trailer out for a new movie that is based on the bully's grandmother.
Yeah, the bully from the original movie gets kicked out of school, lives with his grandmother now for some reason, and she's like, let me tell you about how I survived the Holocaust.
Speaking of bullies, the Holocaust. You're like, whoa.
So that's a thing.
Yeah, that
Apparently,
was in front.
that's also a book. Like,
What a
that's
weird
canon.
Yeah, what a weird way to make a connection to that. But anyway, that you'll see that trailer, I'm sure. Elvis came out just last week. Elvis is Baz Luhrmann's biopic of Elvis Presley. This is from IMDb. This is just like Baz Luhrmann wrote this himself, I'm sure. Elvis is Baz Luhrmann's biopic of Elvis Presley, from his childhood to becoming a rock and movie star in the 1950s while maintaining a complex relationship with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Has a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. It is the number one ranked popularity movie right now. Has a 64 Metascore. It is PG-13, which I found to be interesting. I mean, I guess there's no reason to make this movie rated R, but it is way too long. 2 hours and 39 minutes long, man. Like, I know we talk about long movies and loving long movies and stuff, or hating, but like, there is like there's a limit. There's definitely a limit. 2 hours, 39 minutes, and you feel all of it. It stars, actually, the top billed cast is Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker. A wild and strange performance from that guy.
A weird choice for the movie, by the way, making him the lead.
Yeah. Austin Butler as Elvis, a man who doesn't look like Elvis Presley at all. But we'll talk about it. Was really good in this movie. Olivia DeJonge as Priscilla Presley, Helen Thomas as Gladys. We have Kelvin Harrison Jr. as B.B. King, Richard Roxburgh as Vernon Presley. Cody Smith, Academy Award nominee Cody Smith McPhee, has like 2 lines in this movie. He's in here.
Oh yeah, that was him, huh?
Yeah. Gary Clark Jr., who has a needle drop in this movie, also plays a role. He is I think the guitar player, Arthur Big Boy Crudup. I think he's the guitar player that they sneak in on in where his home was. But this movie's doing pretty well financially, which is to be expected, probably. I'm not sure what the budget was on this. I gotta imagine that Baz Luhrmann doesn't spare any expense when it comes to making this stuff. But pretty big cast. but it's grossed $118 million worldwide, so it's doing pretty well. It's gonna get kicked in the teeth next week with the Rise of Gru now being out and also Thor coming like in a couple of days. It's gonna get kicked in the mouth. Like something has to go. It's gonna be this.
Absolutely. Big month for movies.
Yeah. The Rise of Gru, by the way, making like $250 million off of like meme stock is incredible.
Yeah, I went to theaters tonight, and there were definitely teenagers there in suits.
I need to go see this film. I've seen all the Minions films and Despicable Me films. I love those films. I'm definitely gonna watch this. Probably not.
I thought the Gentle Minions thing was a joke. It is not. They're really in these streets. Like
those films are wonderful. They are wonderful films.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Elvis has a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, 94% audience score. The standard rock biopic formula gets all shook up in Elvis, with Baz Luhrmann's dazzling energy and style perfectly complemented by Austin Butler's outstanding lead performance.
And then I get shook up at all, but we'll talk about it.
It's weird. It's a strange movie, such a strange movie, and we'll get it. I don't know why I like it. We'll get into it, but Tej, let's start with you because out of all three of us, you despise this movie. We may have different Dex and I made a pretty good bit, but you hated this movie.
This is my least favorite movie I've seen all year. Granted, it's been a very good year of movies. I have not hated anything as much as I hated this. First of all, I felt like I was in the movie theater for about 7 hours. Like it is a very long film. And it's like a montage. It's like a extended montage. It's like super cuts. It's like music on top of music. It's like I don't like Baz Luhrmann. Like I don't particularly like the way he makes movies. I'm not a big Moulin Rouge fan. Like so I'm not a particular big fan of this director. I don't really like his style. I'm also not a Elvis fan at all. I do not like Elvis's music. I also have a very big issue with like the way that I'm not going to make this podcast political, but like the way in which we treat like white people from like the civil rights era, the way that we tell their stories has always just been something that's just nasty to me in terms of American cinema. And this movie goes to some of the same tropes that we've been seeing forever. White musician who's stealing black music, but we have to show that like, oh, the business side was like doing that. And Tom Hanks's character is the bad guy who is kind of forcing that part of it. But Elvis was a good guy who liked black people and was sad when MLK died. Like, I hate that. That's one of my least favorite tropes that you see in movies. And there are a ton of movies like that. Elvis is, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Elvis's music. I also don't really care for his dancing. I understand that people really liked it at the time because he was dancing like what they thought a black person would dance like. But like to me, it's like Chris Brown would clean him up if you put Chris Brown on stage next to Elvis.
Yeah, no shit.
Nobody would be looking at Elvis.
You can't backflip to March Madness for sure.
Yeah, he can't. I've never seen him backflip to March Madness. So like,
he couldn't even hit the usher. Watch this. Like,
I've never really understood the appeal. There are a lot of things that white people have had obsessions with that I just will never fundamentally understand. And probably at the top of that list is like Elvis and Eminem. Those are way up there for me. Like, I don't understand the whole Elvis thing. But if you show me an interesting movie about an interesting person, I get to know who they are. I'll probably enjoy it. I literally didn't learn anything about Elvis, like as a person in this film. Things are just happening around him and to him. And every time he speaks, it's like, okay, but like, what does this man feel? What is this man thinking? Or what is he experiencing? It's just like, no. We're just going to give you like a 2.5 hour summary of things that happened to Elvis. I don't think I learned a lot about Elvis. The one thing that I thought really saved it, well, I didn't save it because it's a horrible movie to me, but the one thing that I really liked, I was into the Butler. I don't know how much he looks like Elvis. I thought he looked like Elvis, but I don't really know what Elvis looks like in terms of, I thought he was kind of like a mildly handsome white dude in his prime before he started getting fat and doing drugs. So I thought he kind of looked like him, but even if he didn't, like I kind of, there's something about the performance that works for me, but I think I literally hate everything else. I hate the writing. I really hate the way the movie is cut and edited. I hate the contemporary music in the movie. Like you got a needle drop of Doja Cat, which is weird. I like the Doja Cat Elvis song, I guess, but like, why are we listening to this when we're seeing a movie that's set in the 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden we're talking about a guy who's going to go off to war, and then a Doja Cat comes on? I hate that. I've never liked that. I won't say I've never liked it. I will say it takes a very deft hand to be able to do a needle drop that's out of time when you're telling a movie about a real life person, especially when that real life person happens to be a musician. If we're watching a movie like they made a really bad John Gotti movie a couple years ago with John Travolta with like Pitbull songs in it, and it was really, the movie's awful. But also it was like, how did you choose Pitbull to be the John Travolta? Like, how did that make any sense in terms of like
Pitbull
the kind of music?
The only one that's
movie, like
the only one that's been able to do it, like infuse pop culture music with, is Scorsese. But
Scorsese does it really well.
Yeah, he's like one of the few that's always been able to get away with it. And it's like Baz Luhrmann saw that. I was like, I'm stealing that. I'm definitely stealing that.
Is when Scorsese does it well, he'll go grab a song, and he's not gonna get a song that happens to be on the soundtrack, and we got to pump this song into the movie for the soundtrack or to like get people to come to the movie. He's gonna pick a song that seems like they're trying to say, okay, this fits thematically, even though it doesn't fit like the time, right?
Right.
Having Doja Cat do a cover of a song that Elvis also stole from a black person and drop it in the middle of the movie, it's just a completely weird choice. It just did not work for me. Every time somebody was rapping, I was like, this is just weird that there's rap happening, but we're watching a movie about someone who's supposed to be a great musician. I just think that I think a lot of it is stylistic for me. I just don't like this style of biopic. I don't like Baz Luhrmann's style. I'm gonna go with. I tried to come up with a fair grade, but also be like true to what I really felt about it. I'm gonna give this film a D. I absolutely hated it, but I am interested to see Butler in more stuff. But I thought he was doing a good job in the midst of this chaos, this burning room. I thought he was doing a pretty good job at times, especially with some of the musical stuff. Knowing he's not a musician, I thought he did a fairly good job. I'm gonna go with D.
Yeah, that's fair. You said F- earlier in the chat, and I wanted you to say it with your chest.
I would have walked out if it was an F-. So because I did not walk out of a 2.5 hour movie, which shows my dedication to this podcast, unfortunately, because I should have walked out of it. I did not leave, so that means it couldn't have been an F. So I gave it a D.
Gotcha. Yeah. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, man. I fuck with this movie. Like, I'm sorry. I know that I'm not supposed to like Elvis or anything about Elvis, and he stole music from black people and all that. But like, hey, dog, I had a good ass time. Like, I love Baz Luhrmann's style. Like, I'm one of 7 people who still likes the Great Gatsby movie. I love Moulin Rouge. Like, I'm here for all of his shit, like just covering weird shit in gold and making it sparkly and doing his fucking Oriental rug transition shots and all that. Like, I'm here for it. Yeah. Like, I'm on board. That's exactly what I was looking for when I heard about this movie originally and why I said it was going to be good. And I got exactly what I was looking for. The only thing, well, there are 2 things that kind of hold this movie back from being really good to me. First of all, is the Tom Hanks narration.
What the hell, man?
I hated that.
Oh no, like that
I didn't even talk
no
about
one
how
liked
bad
that.
Tom Hanks was.
No
Tom
one
Hanks
was so
that accent
strange.
that he's going with. I don't know where that choice came from. That was an extremely crazy choice to talk like that and to have this man doing more talking than anybody else in the movie. That's just a weird choice.
Like, just use a normal voice. Like, we don't give a fuck about his accent. And
we don't care
true.
about
like,
Tom.
We don't care.
We don't care about Tom Parker. We didn't
at all.
No one knew who Tom Parker was. Old people don't know who Tom Parker was. Like,
yeah, like
insane. And also, you didn't have to make him fat. Like, you didn't. Yeah. No one cares.
Nobody cares. If you want to like frame the narrative that way, like, I guess that makes sense. Like, giving like a different perspective on Elvis instead of just being like, this is his whole life story or whatever. Like, you want to have it framed through somebody else's eyes. Okay, cool. I can respect that. But like, we don't care what his accent sounds like. Just have him talk normal. Like, we don't give a fuck. That was so weird and off-putting every time he spoke. And then the other thing I didn't like about this movie, it feels a little dated to me. I tweeted this like after I originally saw it. Like, if I wish they would have just picked a moment or 2 to focus on for Elvis. Give us like a 3-year period like to focus on instead of being like, okay, we're in, I don't know, Tupelo, Mississippi, or wherever he's from as a child, and then we're gonna move all the way up to his death and all that shit. Like that seems like, you know, some shit you do in 2007. Like that's Ray, it's Walk the Line, it's, you know, all those other old biopics. These days I kind of like it when they pick just like a really short period, just really focus on, knock that shit out of the park, like dive deep into that story. You don't have to set up all the background for Elvis. We know who Elvis is. We get it. You can give us a very lived in Elvis at the peak of his powers. Talk about like the Vegas shit going down. Talk about wanting to go on an international tour, not being able to. Talk about
they took the third act of the movie and just made it the movie.
Yeah, do that. Like just instead of trying to tell us his entire life story in 2.5 hours, just tell us one really good story from his life in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, and this is an A+ to me. Or if I had seen this movie in 2007 before I had seen Ray or Walk the Line, then yeah, this would be fucking amazing. Like this would be an A+. But as is, I got to give it like a B. Like it's fun. I enjoyed it, but it's too long. The narration is weird, and I would have liked for them to kind of focus it a little bit more.
This is We Swear Elvis Had Black Friends, the movie.
Oh my God, is it? Oh my God.
It really is,
man.
It's like
he didn't steal it. They were cool with it.
BB King was like, you better write that song so it gets heard, you know. It's just like, okay, but
Go White Boy, Go White Boy, the movie.
Yeah, man, I just I don't know. I don't like Baz Luhrmann. I don't like Moulin Rouge. You can go, we have a Moulin Rouge episode. I remember liking it when I was a kid, and then we went back and watched it, and it was offensively bad. It was just like, to me, it was just like an assault to the senses is how he directs movies. But like, not like Michael Bay, where he's not trying to say anything. Baz Luhrmann is definitely trying to say something artistically.
He's trying to say a lot of things
and
at once.
But whereas like Michael Bay's an assault to the senses because he just like wants to, I don't know.
He just likes drones.
He just likes to blow up shit.
He just loves drones, bro.
And, I feel like Baz Luhrmann stylistically is just trying to say cocaine is very cool and you should do it.
Yeah,
like that's what all this
LSD was a wild ride. You know, I don't like. I think I don't like that Great Gatsby movie. I don't like Moulin Rouge, and the rest of his shit is extremely forgettable, if not bad. Australia, you remember that one with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah,
no, you don't. Exactly.
I did not watch that.
So after knowing that, and then seeing the trailer with Fat Tom Hanks, which didn't get any better, but I saw the trailer with Fat Tom Hanks and not a lot of Austin Butler, which was strange marketing. And I said, this movie is going to be the worst thing I've ever seen. It's going to be terrible.
I said the same thing.
I said on this podcast, I said, this movie is going to be a piece of shit. And then the reviews started coming out, and people that I like and respect were like, you know what? Like, I don't know. I kind of like it. And I just was like, all right, let me just go watch. I'm still probably going to hate this movie. I don't know, man. I don't know what I saw, what I watched. The first 20 minutes is an absolute Baz Luhrmann pleasure fest all over the screen. It's so masturbatory for himself, and like, this is my style and this is what I'm going to do. It's like 3 different people directed this movie too. Like, they all got their different people got their hands on it, because it turns into something completely different at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
very different.
Turns into a standard biopic towards the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It just, if you can withstand that first 20-minute stretch, it's like the Warriors run in the third quarter. If you can withstand that that stretch of that assault to the senses and getting you into the story. After that, it becomes pretty standard. And, you know, I don't necessarily know how much of a fascinating character Elvis Presley is. I mean, and he's inherently fascinating because he was super famous. He's one of the most famous people to ever live. But we know the Elvis Presley story, like you were saying, Dex. So those little bits of flair and stuff in what would otherwise be another run-of-the-mill biopic really worked for me somehow.
Yeah. And there's something about like those performance scenes where you're like, you know, just as a regular person born in like, you know, the 80s or 90s like we were, it's like,
yeah,
okay, Elvis Presley was really famous. Like the music doesn't really do much for me all the time now, but like whatever. But then like watching this movie and watching some of the performance sequences, you're like, oh shit, like he was the shit out here. Like women are throwing their panties at him and like fainting and shit. Like, okay, I get it. Like,
but why were they doing that? I do not. I don't know a lot about the Elvis story, but I was watching the first scene where he finds him. He finds this. Oh my God, this diamond in the rough. This guy's going crazy in here, and all the women going crazy. And I was thinking, why are they going crazy though? I literally didn't understand. Man. Like, is he handsome? Was Elvis handsome?
Look, there's a lot of factors that go into that. One, yes, he was, I guess, traditionally handsome for that. He wore, you know, all these flowy clothes and everything else, and these suit. He looked like what Harry Styles kind of walks around.
I was just gonna say it's Harry Styles before Harry Styles,
and
down to the acting career he didn't deserve.
Yeah, and well, I saw another trailer for "Don't Worry, Darling" tonight, but he looked and sounded good. First of all, that like what it was, but you got to understand of the white conservative Bible Belt that he toured around in. It was like that. It was like the guy that he contrasts with that's on the tour already, that's like standing up and just strumming a guitar and everything else.
Yeah, you drop Elvis in fucking Footloose and everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like people can actually move like that and, you know, enjoy their time on stage. And, you know, it's like, why did people love the Beatles? You know what I mean? They weren't moving around like that, and they weren't even that traditionally handsome.
Well, I don't know why people love the Beatles either. I don't know why people love them either.
And also you got to think of, there's a different standard for attractiveness in the 1950s than there is in 2022, to be completely honest with you. But he was just moving and shaking and doing stuff that people weren't traditionally doing on stage, but what
the white people weren't doing.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say what white people weren't. I was just about to say, but what black people have been doing for millennia. He's just like, I'm gonna do that, and people were like, "What is this devilry?" So, but back to the movie, those flashes and pops of flair that Baz does, normally I despise. I don't like it, but it's just after that first 20 minutes, it's just restrained enough that I really got with it. Now there's some stuff like when he goes down to Beale Street at night and they just drop a rap beat like he's a NBA star walking down like, I'm the man. It's like he's like walking around saying that was kind of like, okay, that was some stuff where I'm like, this is jumping the shark a little bit. But on top of all that, it really was a really good performance from Austin Butler, who colored me shocked. Like, he's 30 now, but he was from like Disney Channel and stuff like that, like Hannah Montana and things like that.
Does he not look like Elvis?
Not really.
Close enough to me.
Close enough, but like not really. But you know, unlike all of y'all's fave that gets in our mentions, Rami Malek, he actually sung in this movie.
Yeah.
So there's that. Congratulations.
I was much more impressed with what Butler did in this movie, which is a really bad movie, than I was with what Malek did in that also really bad movie that people gave awards to. So I will definitely give them credit for that.
I like the standard for sort of like the music biopic to me was Walk the Line. I really love that movie. But and it's really traditional when you go back and you watch it, but it's just two genuinely great performances from Phoenix and Witherspoon carry that movie. I would rather see this now than see what they did with the Queen with Bohemian Rhapsody every single day of the week.
Yeah, this is
every single day.
Rhapsody to me.
Every single day of the week. At least they tried something here. You know what I mean?
I don't think that I pick, but I agree. If we were talking about just the performance in the center of it, which you could argue what performance is actually in the center of this movie, which is part of the problem.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We'll go to the later part of our.
But like, if you're talking about just the performance, I totally agree with you. Now we're talking about. Unfortunately, I happen to like Queen songs much more than I like Elvis songs. So if I have to pop one on to play in the background, I'm gonna pick Bohemian Rhapsody, but only because he's not singing those songs, but they are playing Queen songs at an insane volume, which is fun because I love Queen's music. There's not one Elvis song that I'd like.
Yeah, but if you wanted to see like the Live Aid thing, you can just go like watch that on YouTube. You know what I mean? True. And that's what that movie was.
True,
but that's the best part of that movie, and it's like I can just watch like actual Live Aid instead of watching y'all recreate
Rami Malek pretend to be Freddie Mercury. But the problem with this movie inherently though is the Tom Hanks thing, which is weird because Tom Hanks is like my dad. So like he's like my movie dad. It's like I love Tom Hanks more than I love some family members. And I wish I was joking about that. But like it was the most out of body, out of character performance because unfortunately for Tom Hanks at this point in his life, he's so famous and so recognizable that he can't do these character actor performances without us going, that's Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? And of course, he was nominated for Mr. Rogers, which I thought was like a genuinely good performance.
Definitely.
But that's because he wasn't a scumbag or anything else. This was like he was in a fat suit. He was doing a broken Dutch accent. And
yeah, for me, I don't have a problem with like seeing the movie and going, "Hey, that's Tom Hanks." Like, I don't need actors to disappear into their roles or whatever. But it's just like anybody talking with that voice, I would have been like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why'd you do that?"
And
even
I
if
guess
it was an actual Dutch person, I'd have been like, not really loving the narration that we chose in this film. But it makes it even worse that I know what Tom Hanks sounds like. So it made it that much worse that every time he spoke, I was like, he's doing that on purpose. And
it's like Tom Hanks with a Dutch,
bad idea.
It's Tom Hanks with a Dutch accent. It's not like a fully immersed like Dutch accent. It's like Woody with a Dutch accent.
And he has so many lines, and I'm just every time he spoke, I was like, oh, now he's doing the voiceover and he's doing like his character lines. Shoot me in the head, bro. Like that's too much of this accent. It's way too much.
And like some of the shit he was saying was just so fucking stupid. Like hearing him say "snow job" over and over, I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like I'm not trying to hear this bullshit, man.
It really is just a strange performance, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world that I've ever seen. Some people are saying it's like an all-time bad performance. I don't know, like it ain't that. But like,
is it not that though, guys? Is it not?
Because it ain't that. We've seen way worse. We've seen worse from Tom Hanks.
I can't think of a worse Tom Hanks performance off the top of my head.
I don't know if we've seen worse from Tom Hanks, but I don't know if it's
I can't think of one
bad performance. But he's just kind of out of place in this movie, and it works kind of because this is already a weird movie to begin with. So like him being a weirdo in the middle of this weird movie is like not the most off-putting thing in the entire planet. But the decision to make it about how he laundered money from Elvis and not about he being the ancillary character in the Elvis story
Insane.
is so weird, because like you don't see Austin Butler's face in this movie until he gets on stage to perform That's All Right Mama or whatever it is for the first time, which was kind of like a needle drop in its own right, but it's also like, is this the Elvis story anymore? What is this? You know what I mean? And I get
weird.
why I don't know, like it's a different take on it. Like, and I see why a writer would want to try and make a different take on, oh, Johnny Cash grew up and Johnny Cash had trauma as a boy, and then he went to the army and now has a drug problem. You know what I mean? And they wanted to try and flip that on its head, I assume, but it just didn't work, man, because we don't care about Tom Parker. Sorry. Like it's an interesting story that, yeah, Elvis could have been destitute, but he wasn't. He's a millionaire.
This movie is the worst version of Nightmare Alley. Like Nightmare Alley is so great, and this is the opposite of that.
They have a geek.
They have a geek like Flash, like a pull-in.
Yeah, they do.
I noticed that shit, and I was like, Nightmare Alley, huh?
Yeah. I'm glad we all saw it, but
you could have let Bradley Cooper be Tom Parker, and it would have been the same movie, maybe better.
Probably better. Yeah, but I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what you do if you're Tom Hanks at this point, because he's
fucking go spend some money. Go sit down and spend some money and raise Chet. Get Chet off the internet. Please.
I feel like he's making that play for like one more Oscar. It feels like. So he keeps doing these biopics. And also he's like getting the Apple TV money on the side. But
yeah, his Apple TV movies haven't been bad. They just haven't been noteworthy.
Yeah, he's getting the Apple TV money on the side, and he's doing like these biopics and trying to get that one last Oscar in there before it's over.
Yeah, and it's hard for any actor, especially actresses, but any actor as they age, to find better roles in Hollywood. Now, I don't think Tom Hanks is going to have a problem getting good roles in Hollywood, and he's one of the most beloved stars ever. But you look at something like Tom Cruise is technically his peer, and he just made $1 billion on a Top Gun movie. And now you're not going to put Tom Hanks in a jet because he'd probably die, because Tom Cruise is a weirdo. But it is like kind of a weird split. Like
Tom Cruise doesn't value himself or others. So
yeah, it's a weird kind of sliding doors moment when you look at their careers, because they're basically peers. You know what I mean? They were getting nominated for Oscars at the same time. They were, leading box office men at the same time, along with Denzel. But they're of that camp. They're basically peers, and he's not that much older than Cruise. I don't think. Maybe like 3 years.
5 years older. That's wild.
Yeah. So it is a weird point in his career. I don't think this like tanks his career or anything, but it is such a weird decision by Baz Luhrmann, and the acting choices by Hanks are some of the weirdest. And it's like I don't know, man. It's like telling your dad that he has to finally retire or something like that. It's like, hey, you gotta take that pension. You know what I mean?
Finally beat your dad 1-on-1 in basketball, and you're like, damn, old man.
I don't think Tom Hanks is washed. I just don't know what he was doing. Like I have no idea what was happening. And the difference between Hanks and Cruise is that they told Cruise to do a goofy ass accent like this, he would have walked off the set. I'm not doing that accent. I sound ridiculous. Why would I do that for a whole movie? That doesn't make any sense. And Hanks is just like, sure, I've never done that before. Let's do it. He just wants something different to do. He's probably also just bored as shit.
It was his idea.
It probably was. And he's a real like Hanks is like a weird historian on top of everything else. He's very deep into history. Like anything that he produces is filled with Americana and World War II documentaries and everything else. Go look at his producing credits. It's all like when we went to the moon,
pirates.
Yeah, and it's all like Americana of when he grew up. But so I assume he was probably like, I want to make this probably as accurate as it was for Elvis, because that's how I remember it when I was a kid. But we don't know Tom Parker. You know what I mean?
And don't care to know.
And don't care. And also, look, man, Tom Parker was fat. You go look at it like, yeah, he was a big fat.
The fat suit really bothered you. I didn't care about the fat suit at all.
We
got
know
over
that
that
Tom,
bothered you.
no,
I
we
got over
know
that
that
part
Tom
quickly.
Hanks is not fat anymore. He actually looks really good. We know that Tom Hanks isn't like 90s Tom Hanks where he's a little bit chubby or whatever. It just didn't look right. It just did not like Jared Leto got fat and got gout, and we were all like, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. He wears that, like I can see him being fat. Like the fat suit just did not work. And you're sitting there going like, I know that Tom Hanks isn't fat. Like
I
I get
processed
it,
the
it's a
fat suit
movie.
the first
but, like,
time I saw him. I never thought about the fat suit ever again after that.
Never
Like,
thought about it
did
again.
not. I never thought about it after the first time he was on
bothered
screen. It
the
was like,
fuck out of me,
yeah, he's got a
man.
fat suit on. Like, then
Bothered the hell
yeah,
out of me.
Completely unbothered by
It
the
didn't
fat
bother me
suit.
at all.
Just the voice really bothered
Just
me.
the voice bothered me.
And like I guess the side character narration thing is kind of Baz Luhrmann's move. He did that with Great Gatsby too. Like he had
I mean, he did
Tobey
it with
Maguire.
Moulin Rouge.
yeah, Tobey Maguire narrate the whole thing instead of making it Gatsby. But I mean, I guess that's in the book too. But
That's the book.
yeah, still, it's like, yeah, I don't need that. They did the same thing with the Tom Hanks Mr. Rogers movie. Like the lead in that movie is the reporter guy instead of Mr. Rogers. Like it's just like a go-to Hollywood move. I don't like it, but whatever. Like that's really the only thing that held the movie back for me. So
I don't know. I think a lot of the the length of it too is it's way too long. At some point I was like, all right, now this is when this is gonna end. Nope. Okay. Now it was like they're gonna show us the end of this movie without making him fat. How do they do that?
I have a controversial take.
Do it.
Let the studios have some creative control in these movies again. I'm talking about.
yeah, bring
Why
back
did
studio
this man
interference,
turned
baby.
in- This man turned in a longer than 2.5 hour cut of this movie, and the studio didn't do shit about it. They should have cut 30 minutes off this movie immediately. It's insane that this movie came in this long, and they were just like, yeah, sure, put it out. Like, I cannot believe that happened.
Yeah, like that whole shit with his dad coming back and being like, "Hey, we're broke. You got to go back. We don't need that. We don't need that. Get that out of here. I don't care." You could have
This
ended the
whole
movie
family
with him
dynamic. All the family stuff was weird to me. All of
It's a
it.
weird
His relationship
family
with his
dynamic
mom
with his
was so
mom.
weird.
Ugh.
I don't know, man.
I wasn't bothered by the mom at all. I don't know what y'all are talking about, to be honest.
I couldn't.
There's like a
what's-
couple of
what's up,
times
issue
where
with the
Baz
mom?
there's a couple times where Baz Luhrmann shot it and their faces are super close together and he's like rubbing up against her or whatever. I'm like, this is weird. This is
Didn't see-
it's absolutely weird. No, I think that there's a lot of stuff that maybe you cut out. I think I don't know. Maybe you cut out the movie stuff. But
Most
I think
of his relationship with Priscilla was kind of useless in this movie because like it doesn't
really
go
was.
anywhere.
No,
Like-
it's like I'm leaving you. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
I didn't understand why we did the movie stuff at all. I didn't get it. I didn't get why we were doing the movie stuff. I was like, okay, but
I think
is
they
this
tried
kinda
to
like-
show his downfall, like because there was a period. If you go to Graceland, they're very like open about it, which I've been once. They're like, oh, he had a really big downturn in the in the mid '60s. Nobody cared about Elvis anymore, and then that's what's supposed to be his huge comeback was in the late '60s and early '70s. But there was a good period where he wasn't loved as much as and it happens to
But
every artist, but like
weren't they not caring because he was in the army? Like that, right?
no,
Like,
the
it wasn't-
army thing actually helped his public perception, but I'm saying like
Oh.
he made a bunch of like shitty movies. Go and look at like his IMDb of the actual Elvis, and he's in a couple of well-remembered ones and ones that did well at the box office, I guess. But the latter part of his movie career is like the reviews for him are like 4.3, 4.5, like on
Yikes.
The movie part of the Elvis movie was the only time that I like felt like I learned something because I had no idea most of that shit went on with Elvis. Like I only really knew about the music. I had no idea that he has like a whole movie career and that was a thing. So I was like, oh, okay, like something new that I didn't know before. while that was happening. But yeah, his whole relationship with Priscilla, like apart from just being real life problematic,
I was gonna say she goes, he goes, teenage daughter. I was like, how teenaged?
define teenage.
Define teenage, because it was like barely
14.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So even aside from the real life problematicness of it, like in the movie, it just doesn't really mean much of anything. I guess she's supposed to be like the moral center for the part of the movie that she's in, but like it doesn't really work. You don't really believe
it doesn't matter
her.
because he's not on drugs for very long in this movie, which
Nope.
one thing we know about Elvis Presley, loved drugs. Really big into drugs.
Big drug guy.
Big drug guy. And then he's barely on drugs in this movie and barely fat in the movie. And it was like a couple things that people know about Elvis is that he got fat and that he was on drugs. We barely saw any of that.
He fucked one groupie and she was like, "I'm leaving you." And we're like,
yeah,
okay.
And that's what I like about Walk the Line is that it didn't hide that at all. Where he was like, and even Ray either, where it was like, yeah, this dude was a big slut. And in this, it was like, yeah, maybe. I mean, he was kissing women in front of his wife. Like, good Lord. I didn't know that.
In front of God and everybody. This shit was wild.
He's out here making an open mouth kissing everybody in the middle of COVID.
Just walking off the stage in Vegas, just fucking kissing just any old body in the crowd, bro. Like, you know how many diseases are out here?
It's the 70s. There wasn't diseases. No, I think that, yeah, he's supposed to really have a connection with his daughter and stuff, but they don't really build that up either. You know what I mean?
It felt like they just kept bitching her because they're like, we know y'all have heard of her before. We're going to put it in here. You know who that is.
Side note, his granddaughter is actually a really popular actress now.
Wait, who?
Riley Keough.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
That is his granddaughter. But what did we think? I mean, look, we'll talk about the Butler performance a little bit. I really, really think this may catapult him into another sort of stratosphere as far as now he like listening to interviews with him. He's kind of like a weirdo. I mean, he's an actor. He's kind of a weird guy, but he really, for as much as I don't think like he actually looks like Elvis that much, he really embodied sort of, and Tej, I know you don't understand why people found him attractive, but he embodied the sexuality of what Elvis was to millions of teenage girls across the world. And just the way that his motions and movements and his physical acting in this, I thought were actually really, on top of his singing, but I thought that was really, really good. I thought he was his physicality in this was actually really incredible. Some of the, I don't know how much of the line delivery. I mean, the Elvis accent is weird to do in without it feeling like parody now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But well, I got to tell you that I'm not doing no drugs, Priscilla. And you're just like, what do you want from me, darling? And it's just like, are you doing a bit? Are you doing a bit? Like,
yeah, you've heard Elvis impersonated for your entire life, so it's like all of them just feel like bad impersonations instead of good performances. But yeah, seeing that clip side by side of like the Christmas special and like what Elvis was actually doing on the Christmas special versus what Austin Butler doing, hilarious. But yeah, it's like, damn, Austin Butler made this dude like actually really cool. Like he looks so much better than what Elvis is doing. It's like, I mean, I guess it's kind of like watching, Babe Ruth having at bat, like in like whatever year that was. It's like seeing that shit, you wouldn't understand like why people were amazed with it now. But like
Elvis was playing against farmers.
Yeah, he was. Elvis was out there dancing on tour against fucking farmers. You saw it.
T, do you have anything to say more about the Butler performance?
No, I was really into it. It was like I said, the surrounding film did nothing for me, but I really liked his performance. I don't know if I feel like the performance is going to catapult him into some level of stardom, but I will say that I thought he did a great job, and it's like you know how people, you remember when Kevin Love was with the Timberwolves and he had all these stats, and people were like, we don't know if Kevin Love is actually good or if he's just like the best player on a really bad team. I can't tell whether Butler is good or whether he just was one thing for me to grab onto in a sea full of shit that was being thrown at me from the movie screen for 2.5 hours. But I enjoyed the performance. I thought he did something, and it's not even just like his line delivery. The singing was working for me in terms of trying to sound like Elvis, but it was really the facial expressions that I thought he really nailed. And I don't know how true those facial expressions are to Elvis, but they ring true to what the character was going through in any given scene and how he was trying to showcase the way that he felt inside on his face. And I thought those were really my only signposts of like, what is this guy thinking and going through in his brain? Because I think the movie did a really bad job of expressing that stuff to me. So the only way I really knew like how Elvis felt, not about how the world felt about Elvis or how people around him felt about him, but how he felt about everything happening to him was through this guy's face. And I thought he did a great job with that. So I was really into the performance for sure. I thought he did a great job.
Because he doesn't have any sort of like big monologue thing, where he goes off and he's like, talking about his feelings. And what's very funny is they were talking about pretty poignant. The Star is Born remake. I found that really funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's definitely going to be in the mix for an Oscar nomination. Obviously, we got to see what else comes out this year.
I don't think so.
He's going to be there. Like, he just is. Like,
I don't know. It's July. Long way to go for that. Just like I feel like it's a long way to go for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I mean, look, it's when it comes to acting performances, it really doesn't matter. Like Joker was a summer blockbuster movie, and that shit won for Joaquin Phoenix.
We saw with a better, what I think is a better performance, and it didn't get nominated was the Elton John movie Rocket Man. With
I heard it's good, right?
I enjoyed Rocket. I like Rocket Man more than I like this. Oh, I never gave a grade. I gave this movie a C+, by the way. All this time after, if anybody's still listening, but no, I maybe I don't. There's a maybe here for me with Austin Butler that he might get nominated. I just think
I'm not saying for sure. Well, bye, Royden.
Oh, we lost Royden.
There he is. Back. But yeah, I'm not saying for sure that he's gonna get nominated. I'm saying he's definitely gonna be in the mix, though. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't be.
I'm just saying
it'll come down to campaigning. Like,
yeah, I'm just saying I saw a better performance with Taron Egerton and Rocket Man not get nominated. So I don't know.
But you've also seen worse performances get nominated. So.
That's true.
I.e.,
we talked about one of them earlier. So
yeah,
and also I might be wrong here, but I feel like Dexter Fletcher really doesn't have the clout to kind of get an Oscar nomination for a fair to middling film like that. And I mean, Baz Luhrmann got a bunch of nominations already for like Moulin Rouge and other stuff like that. So I feel like
he's only been nominated once.
That's one too many.
We will say he was, I think, probably based on this performance, Austin Butler cast in Doom Part 2.
They need something.
I'm excited for that.
They need something. They need something to keep me awake because if they give me another sleepy ass film like they gave me the first time, I'll be very angry. So.
People are gonna get mad at you in the comments.
Hey man, they listen.
Would they know how we feel about that movie?
I was excited about Dune like everybody else when I sat in that movie theater. Okay, I didn't go into the shit on Dune. I want to have a great time.
And then I fucking saw that part 1 pop up on the screen, and I was like, "Fuck."
When's part 2? 2024.
What else we got from Elvis before we get to the worst? overrated musicians, which is going to be hilarious. I can't wait to shit on some.
Can't wait.
Most overrated musicians. No, they just they didn't show my man eating enough.
Yeah, not enough of the what was it? The like peanut butter and banana sandwiches or whatever the fuck that
peanut
was.
butter, banana, and bacon.
That's disgusting.
Right?
It's disgusting.
Fucking big yikes. Shout out to Little Richard, whoever played him in this movie. Did a great
I thought
job.
it was
an incredible
Jay
performance.
Farrow.
Also stunned by the lack of Bruno Mars in this movie. That just feels like a very obvious like thing to do, and they just didn't do it.
Needle drops in that.
Weird, yeah. Like he wasn't on the soundtrack at all. I was like, what?
The needle drop, and the one thing that I did like about like the most hectic first 20 minutes or whatever of it, when he's doing the "That's All Right, Mama," and he starts like dancing and stuff, and they do the Gary Clark Jr. Come Together needle drop.
Oh yeah.
I did really, really like that. I really like that.
Also, not gonna lie to you, I kind of dug it, like the scene where he is like as a kid, he's like goes into the black church and catches the Holy Ghost. I was like, I should hate this, but I don't. I'm having a great time.
I'm not gonna lie, I had the immediate thought of Elvis had black friends. See, promised. Like we've read Twitter. We've heard all the stuff that you've been saying about him stealing.
We're gonna preempt the cancellation.
Yeah,
you wokies.
He's not John Wayne. We promise. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know anything else.
Let's get out of here. Take a break.
Yeah, let's. Actually, we don't have ad breaks right now. Do you want to keep going?
Sure.
All right. Let's do it then.
Let's this is gonna be an interesting draft, so let's get a randomizer to see how we're gonna do this.
I'm actually gonna tweet this one out after we do it because like I think this is gonna be great content.
We're gonna get some slander.
A random dot.
I'm slandering everybody's faves. I'm ready.
Can't wait. Y'all already know who number one on my big board is.
Okay. Royden Teej Dex.
Oh, of course.
Royden Teej Dex. That's brought to you by random.com. Sponsor the pod, not me. I'm not going to take your number one overall pick because
I might.
Because there is a clear cut number one overall. But I'm going to Paolo Banchero y'all here. My number one overall is hold on. Why did I? Oh, here it is. My number one overall is Bob Dylan.
Holy shit. I was going to pick Bob Dylan.
Oh, you were going to pick Bob Dylan?
That was your number one?
Not number one, but yeah, I was definitely going to pick Bob Dylan later.
Okay, I was going to say, I didn't mean to. I wasn't going to snipe you there because I knew what your pick was, and I could have done, but we'll save it. But Bob Dylan has so many, if you go look on like Rolling Stones or whatever, and they list like the number one songs of all time, it's like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. And you're like, you go and listen to it and it's like, and you're just like, holy shit, this is bad. It's so bad.
And hearing people write about it, it's like, oh, this is like the perfect representation of America and hope and like all things beautiful. And it's like, is it though? Like, what?
His songs, he's the most overrated artist in the world because his songs are made better by other people.
Incredible writer. Cannot sing worth a goddamn.
No, yeah, incredible songwriter. I don't want to take that away because people are going to get mad at me. He wrote some of the best songs of all time. He should never have sung them.
Shouldn't have sung a single one of them. I don't know how y'all let that man cook like that.
No idea. No idea. And then he just gets to go play the harmonica and go, live like a Rolling Stone. And you're just like, oh, no thanks, Bob. No thanks.
Every single cover of Bob Dylan's music is 10 times better than the music.
All Along the Watchtower is one of the greatest songs of all time because he didn't make the most popular version of it.
Adele was fucking floating on Make You Feel My Love. I went back and listened to like the original Bob Dylan version. I was like, what the fuck is this?
All right, Teej.
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
has
no!
slaps. That's what I'm thinking. I fucking
No
hate
slaps.
Bruce Springsteen. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't want to hear none of that shit ever.
No, you're gonna
that
grow
shit
up.
stinks.
So hard.
That shit stinks. Get Bruce Springsteen the fuck out of here. I'm tired of this shit, white people.
Grow up.
I am tired of that shit. Get that shit the fuck out of here. Bruce Springsteen's my number one pick.
So many sports writers are gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, the people love fucking Bruce Springsteen.
I used to fucking hate Bruce Springsteen. And then I heard there were one or two songs I heard when I turned 24, 25 or something like that.
I fucking
damn.
get it.
Yeah, this nigga spitting, bro.
All of a sudden I get it.
Yeah, all of a sudden I get it. Damn, I'm sad too. But I get it though. He's like diet Bob Dylan in terms of bad vocals.
Diet
Well,
Bob Dylan.
I can bad vocals, good lyrics, but they're bad vocals that I can rock with. I can't rock with Bob Dylan. Bruce Springsteen I can rock with. All right, so my number one overall on my big board fell to me at number 3. Thank y'all. It's the Beatles. I will never understand the obsession with the Beatles. I will not get it. I don't want to get it. I'm not open to getting it. They just do not slap. I've listened to a lot of Beatles songs because I've tried. All the high top Converse girls that I watched Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings for were like, you gotta listen to the Beatles. You'll love the Beatles if you actually listen. No, I won't. I listened to 30 Beatles songs, and I think they're 2 of 30 from the field. I do not like their music.
Covers of their Beatles, because they have a couple songs that I like, but it's few and far between because they make horrible music. But I do like a couple songs, so I couldn't select them number one overall in good conscience. But the Beatles, people lie about the Beatles, bro. People have lied about them for years and years and years.
They've got exactly 2 songs that I like their version of. There's Hey Jude and there's Come Together. Everything else, I'm I would rather listen to anyone else sing this shit. And honestly, that includes John Lennon. I will never get what people's obsession is with John Lennon, and especially the song Imagine. That song is not good. I don't know why people like it so much. But anyway, the Beatles easily number 1 overall to me.
Well, Imagine's been ruined forever, so
it wasn't good before that to me. I never liked it, but second on my list, this is one is way more I think controversial with the people who actually listen to our podcast. All 17 of you, shout out. But I'm gonna go with Prince. I just don't like it.
All right, man.
This is not for me.
Right now. This is the most
Purple Rain is ass. It sucks. It's so bad.
See, we can't even fight because you've had this on Twitter. You've had this take on Twitter.
God.
And
this is literally the craziest thing of all time. This is crazy that you would say that.
I don't want this smoke.
I don't even know what to say, bro.
One of the moments that I'm most grateful for with my mother is that we were sitting in the car one day. We were listening to the radio because she still does that like a crazy person, even though she has Bluetooth in her car. We were listening to the radio and they played Purple Rain, and we got halfway through the song and we both looked at each other and we were like, do you actually like this song? No, I don't either. I just assumed you did because everyone else does. This shit sucks. And then we changed the channel. I'm glad that my mother and I could connect on that level and be honest with each other that we don't like Purple Rain and it's not good. I just don't like Prince's voice 99% of the time. There's a couple songs here and there that are pretty good, but people try and say he's as good or better than Michael Jackson, and it's you're lying. You're not only are you wrong, you're wrong, so you're lying. He's not like that. I respect the musicianship. Whatever. I respect the androgyny. That's really cool, I guess. But the music, it ain't there.
This is awful, man. I don't even
know.
How do I follow that? I don't know how to follow that.
Me either. Just get your next pick. We're gonna let him tweet that out and get that hate.
I dated a woman once who was really into YouTube, and that music.
God damn it!
Ronald stinks. Edge stinks. U2 fucking stinks. They've been making music for about 97 years. That shit was so trash that Apple put that shit on our phones with us having no fucking choice in the matter. That shit fucking stinks. U2 is not good, bros.
We should have been able to sue Apple for that.
I don't want to hear none of that. Streets have no name. I don't want to hear none of that shit. That shit stinks. But
I can't name a single U2 song, to be honest with you.
You've heard them. You've heard Vertigo. Vertigo is a U2 song.
They were the most, they were the most popular band ever for a long time.
They have broken almost every fucking record you could break in music. People love them. They stink.
I still can't believe Apple thought it was a good idea to just molest our iPhones with that album.
I deleted that shit immediately. As soon as I saw that shit, I said, "Oh yeah, how do I delete this?" You couldn't even delete it. You couldn't just go delete it like a regular song. There was a special thing you had to go do. You had to look it up. How do I delete the U2 album? And they literally had to walk you through the steps. That's insane. That is insane. I didn't click play on that shit. Fuck you, Apple. I don't want to hear that shit.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for as a U2 song. I like that one.
That's U2.
I like some U2 songs, so I was going to take them, though, because I don't understand. The 90s are such a weird time where somebody just could blow up and then just remain huge forever.
Industry plants, the whole lot of them.
Yeah.
That shit fucking stinks. Bono, sorry, that shit is not good, bros. Keep that shit over there.
Man, what do I do? What do I do? You know what? I got to do it because this, he is my artist, me personally. Eminem.
Oh, no.
Great choice.
He was properly rated, and I do love Eminem. He was properly rated until about 2012. And everyone my age, every white dude that loved Monster Energy
and Call of Duty.
Monster Energy.
Have you heard Till I Collapse? It's like the best song ever. Have you heard Cinderella Man? That's thing. People are not rapping anymore, man. People are not rapping anymore. See, this is what
these mumble rappers, bro.
This is what rap music actually is. This is what rap music is. Not like Future or whatever. This is Eminem is what rap music. And I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And I don't know. There's been a couple of things that he like the Godzilla song or whatever. I don't know if it's any good, but I do like it that he put out. And that's like the last thing that he's put out that I actually enjoyed. But
you weren't feeling Venom.
Oh my God.
Venom. Oh my God. No, I wasn't. I think he had a verse on a Logic song recently that was actually pretty good, which is another whole sentence all in itself.
Yeah.
But
the fact that I know what you're talking about makes me feel very bad, but I also like that song.
Yeah, me too. Helps me run. I don't know why, but it just
look what I'm playing it.
Playing it. Napkins. Got a whole lot of napkins.
Floorboards
and the floor doors.
That is the funniest video ever. It makes me laugh every time I hear it. It doesn't matter when I see that guy's face on my timeline. I click it every time. It is going to make me laugh every time.
It stinks because he was like big canceled, but also
that
video bigly. So funny. So funny. Floor doors and the floorboards. Look what I'm playing it.
Napkins. You got too many napkins.
Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, Eminem. White people ruined Eminem.
I'm an Eminem enjoyer, but he is very much overrated because people still consider him like the greatest rapper of all time.
It's just not true.
Yeah,
this is not true.
Right. I can't just pick white people.
Well, no, I need to
accused of being racist. Oh, you have another one.
I have another one, and you took U2, so I'm gonna get double canceled. No, I don't want to do it. I don't
do it, coward.
You can't do anything worse than picking Prince, so you might as well just. Dex is gonna get all the slander from this podcast. We are safe.
But like, I don't want to be like online canceled. By
who the hell are you about to cancel? Who the hell are you about to
Taylor Swift?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, she stinks. That was my next pick. You stole my next pick.
Okay, cool.
Thank God.
I don't want to, man. I don't want to be.
She stinks.
I just hate the online presence, man.
I thought you were about to hit us with the Paul Catalina special right there.
Oh no!
You had me nervous.
No, not at all. Taylor Swift has put out really good music for teenage girls for a long time. But I'm tired of thinking that everything that she comes out with has to go number one on the Billboard charts, because it doesn't, because not all of it's good. Like, and I'm tired of the discourse being like, would you listen to the new Taylor Swift? Like, yeah, and I understand that's how popularity works, but like, what was that? Bad Reputation was one of the, that
Reputation.
bad. Well, yeah, Reputation was one of the worst albums I've ever listened to. Sorry. I listened to it. My now wife made me listen to it on its midnight release when we were in Beaumont, Texas, and I was like, "Do we have to get through this?" I don't.
It's not good.
I've never heard a Taylor Swift song that I like ever.
My problem with her is, first of all, she can't sing or write music.
Yeah, the live versions of songs are very tough.
She can, like, she whisper talks her way through songs, like where she has to sing and like be emotional. She literally can't sing. But also, like, she's in her 30s at this point, and the music still sounds like that's for teenage girls, which is strange. Like I get that that's like the Drake problem for a lot of people, but I just don't care. Taylor Swift, I care, and I don't like it. So,
yeah, and then like, look, Swifties who are gonna inevitably find this, and I'm gonna have to delete Twitter.
I'm gonna make sure they find it. By the way,
please no.
Hey Swifties,
please no.
Your favorite artist stinks. Thank you. We just took care of them. We took care of the Swifties right there.
Yeah, I just think that like releasing the same album twice, that was a choice.
I used to like hate listen basically to Taylor Swift albums just to like participate in pop culture and know what was going on. She put out that second half of like whatever that was, the folklore.
Evermore album.
And I was like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it anymore. Like, it's just not
There's happening. Some like, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying I don't like Taylor Swift's music. Like, I like a lot of the music, but I'm sitting here going like, I don't understand how it blew up to the proportion that it did. Kind of like U2, where I'm like, I like some U2 songs, but how did it get this big? How did it get this big?
Yeah, I mean, hey, Blank Space came on at like some college like formals that I went to, and you know, we had fun. We went crazy, but you know, at this point, I'm good.
All right, Tej.
I don't need the summer camp love songs.
I got accused of reverse racism because I wanted the Rockets to draft someone other than Chet, even though Chet looks amazing in his first summer league game. So, you know, I got accused of reverse racism. So I'm going to try to avoid those allegations today by selecting a black artist because I picked two white artists to start with. I'm going with Big Sean. I've been trying to understand the Big Sean phenomenon for a number of years. I just don't understand what people see in this guy. He has said some of the most cringeworthy things on wax that have ever been on wax. I think that he is a mediocre at best rapper, a mediocre at best song maker, and he is a wholly uninteresting person in every way to me. Big Sean has never said or done anything interesting to me in any way. I mean, I was in parties screaming, "I don't fuck with you" for about a week before I was like, "Hey, I'm not really into this song anymore." And then it played for like 6 more months. You know, I just don't get. I've never understood it. I think that he is I don't think that he's like a horrible musician. I just think that he's like extremely overrated for what he actually is. Like he is. I don't understand it. I wouldn't spend my time listening to Big Sean. I don't know why anybody else does that either. So that's gonna be my pick in the third round.
Big Sean is the king of like blown opportunities. There are so many like incredible,
so many features.
Like so many incredible features he's gotten, so many incredible beats he's gotten from like Kanye, from Pharrell, from even Travis Scott gave him some dope ass beats. Like, and he just couldn't do anything with it. He can't rap. Like he's just not. He's not like that. There's a couple of Big Sean songs that I like. There's even a couple of Big Sean projects that I like. And like when I was in middle school and high school, I thought he was like the coolest fucking dude ever. Because he was like, you know, out here wearing like all Bape and Tisa and shit like that. And I was like, I want to be like him. He's hanging out with Kanye. He's cool. But he's not like that as a rapper. But his EP with Hit Boy that came out like a couple years ago now, I think. Pretty good.
The X2 picks.
So I'm also gonna pick a rapper, and this is a rapper that I do like some of his music, but he's incredibly overrated to me. It's Kendrick Lamar. I'm sorry. Like,
Wow.
he is extremely overrated. People talk about him like he's like God's gift to rapping. He's just not, man. Like, the songs are not good enough for all that.
This draft was a horrible idea.
To Pimp a Butterfly is not good.
We may not have to tweet. We may not tweet this one out.
I'll tweet all mine. I stand on mine. But like, To Pimp a Butterfly, not good. Miss Morale and the Big Steppers, way too long. There's some good parts in it, but like, that album did not need to be an hour and a half of I went to therapy. Here's my notes. Like, I didn't need that. Like, my auntie is a man now. Bars is not what I needed. I didn't need the 2022 black version of Kim by Eminem. Like,
yeah, I didn't need those two things either. I'll be real.
Yo, and people talk about it like this is real rap music. Like, pretty much anytime any rapper is just this is real rap music, y'all don't understand because y'all like listening to music that's fun. Like, I just immediately just think those people are overrated. Like, y'all just want to have fun.
I'm glad my Eminem takes looks a little bit better in the light.
But yeah, so Kendrick Lamar is one.
Wow, what a couple picks, Kendrick Lamar.
I can't believe this.
I am dominating this draft, by the way. I got the Beatles, Prince, and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, you're going to be the one. The people are going to hate your picks the most. If that's what you mean by dominating, I agree with you.
They're wrong.
You got one more pick.
I don't. I'm gonna go with Byron, but I'm gonna go with one that just doesn't deserve to be in any of the conversations that they're in. There's a big debate between this group and another group, and it just shouldn't be a debate at all. I'm gonna go with Backstreet Boys. They have like 3 hot songs, and that's it.
I feel like they're properly rated. I think people are just are like, remember?
No, because people act like they're even slightly comparable to NSYNC, and they're just not. They're not. NSYNC is shitting on them, and so like, yeah, this might be a little underwhelming compared to my other 3 picks, but fuck the Backstreet Boys. They had 3 hot songs. Get them out of here.
I love NSYNC like the next guy, but I Want It That Way is probably the greatest song ever made.
So that's one of their like 3 good songs.
Yeah, but it's really good.
They got that one, Backstreet's Back, and I can't even think of what the third one is, but I know there is a third one.
I'm going with another group that people love, and Black people specifically love this group.
Oh, don't do
this. I don't understand why. I do not have never understood why people like Maroon 5. That shit fucking stinks. I am so tired of that fucking shit. I am so tired of Maroon 5. They have never made a song that I liked. People love their music. Adam Levine is a talentless hack who happens to be handsome. These people parlayed that into a Super Bowl appearance. They parlayed that into a Super Bowl appearance, and they got to be in the same room as Cardi B, which is not fair because I want to be in the same room as Cardi B. So I don't like Adam Levine, and I don't like Maroon 5, and I don't like Songs About Jane, that album that every one of you loved and listened to when you were in high school. That shit stinks.
Still listen to
I don't like any of that music.
Shout out to former co-host Jake for having one of the greatest takes of all time of saying Maroon 5 introduced white people to funk. That's why people like it.
I love Songs About Jane to this day.
Yeah, me too. I love that. That album slaps, man.
Like, yeah, it's the most common take in the world to say the song is about Jane is good and the rest of their music is bad, but like, that's how I feel. Sorry.
Right there with you, brother. Look, I can't pretend that I wasn't singing. I'm at a payphone trying.
I was not doing that.
I was because I was white. I was white in 2010.
I was not doing that. I was not following the map that leads to you. I was not on that wave.
Moves like Jagger.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. There's a few songs on like their second album, and I think like 1 or 2 songs on their third album that I really like. But yeah, like their biggest hits are all garbage to me.
The decision to like just make it all electronic beats and then introduce like, and now Nicki Minaj or whatever. It's just like,
yeah, that Girls Like You song is like audio wallpaper. Like, I couldn't.
Audio wallpaper.
They wasted Cardi B's time with that shit. I hate those guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna end on. I guess it'll be a whimper for our audience, but I need to do this because I want to just diversify the list a little bit. I'm gonna end with most overrated artist, country artist, Luke Bryan.
Oh no.
Luke Bryan has millions
I don't know who
of
this person is.
streams. Yes, you do. Millions of streams.
What's his most famous song? What song?
Country Girl, Shake It For Me.
Yeah.
That's a song title.
Oh well, maybe you don't know.
Girl, Shake It For Me. That sounds fire. I'm not gonna lie. That's the kind of music I like.
Nope.
Got a little boom in my big truck.
Wait, no, that sounds horrible. I'm not into big truck
popularized. He and I think like Jason Aldean popularized
2 artists I love.
the I have a truck and a cold beer and girl. They popularized. I can't say that word. They made that popular, and country is taking a big shit like in the last. And look, I'm not gonna say if I have like 1 or 8 beers that I'm not like I'll listen to play it again multiple times.
That song is so good.
By Luke Bryan, but he has millions of dollars off of saying nothing in his songs. Absolutely nothing on a genre of music that had like prided itself on being like akin to soul. You know what I mean? And it just like it just is nothing music. It's nothing. There's nothing to it. Just soulless music.
Shake it for the birds, shake it for the bees, shake it for the catfish swimming down deep in the creek.
Oh,
come on.
So this is the country Big Sean is what you're saying. That's what you're telling me right now. This is the okay.
Honestly, I can see that.
I totally understand this.
But yeah, him and Jason Aldean made like they popularized country music for like white women my age to like want to fuck the musicians. Like they were the first ones to like really be on that wave.
To be like, oh, this guy's hot, you know?
Yeah.
And
it
just is.
There's a few. Yeah.
He's a good looking guy.
Luke Bryan's way better looking than Jason Aldean for what it's worth. But yeah, there's a few Luke Bryan songs that are just like super duper MAGA, like the latest one he just put out called Country On. Oh my god.
Oh god.
That is the most MAGA shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. But there's some songs that Luke Bryan has that I'm just like, yeah, this is jamming. I'm playing this at every tailgate, every party.
We'll probably get DNC'd for this, but
this sounds like college football intro music.
Kinda. Hold on.
Come in.
Because the hoes going crazy at the country clubs.
I have absolutely never heard this song. Oh, get up on the hood of my daddy's tractor.
Yeah, having sex on your dad's tractor just seems like a bridge too far.
That's nasty. That seems like a health code violation.
Your dad works in that thing.
Come on.
So yeah, I saw Luke Bryan at the rodeo a couple years ago. Put on an amazing show.
It just is the sit in my truck and drink a beer and we're gonna say girl, but we're never gonna name who the girl actually is. It just could be any of them,
any of you in the crowd, right?
Any of you girls. So
that's just smart business. That's just
I guess so. I'm the dumb one. He has millions of dollars. So
yeah, you're right. It is nothing music, but like sometimes I need that. You know what I'm saying? He's like the pit bull of country music.
Pit bull of yes.
Ah.
Yeah, he's basically the pit bull of country music.
Shit. All right. Any honorable mentions that we want to mention, or we don't?
I would like to apologize on behalf of Dex for slandering Prince, and he doesn't mean it, guys. And please be kind to him.
1000% mean it.
He doesn't mean it.
Any of you who have ever even considered saying that Prince is a better artist than Michael Jackson, I want nothing but bad things for you in your life. I'm sorry.
But who is actually saying that, though?
So many people.
Lots of people. Because Prince is the greatest musician who ever graced the planet.
Is he though?
But Dex is only thinking about who sings better, and people that are picking. Prince
I just want the songs to be
the fact
good.
that Prince is doing everything you hear on the song. And Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, you're the champion of the great music, Dex. You just want the songs to be good.
I just want the song to be good. I don't care who played the guitar. I don't care who wrote any of it. Doesn't matter. I just want the shit to sound good when I put it in my AirPod Pros. That's all.
All right, this is the draft that's gonna get us kicked off the air. Really appreciate this.
We should have known it was coming when we knew.
This was a smart idea by us. Really love that.
This is your fault, Roy. I didn't want to do this.
That's true. This is Roy's fault.
It seems like you did.
Dex is going to come on here and slander Prince. We should have known that was going to happen.
I told you really wanted. You had something to get off your chest.
You proposed this draft topic, and I was like, "No, we're not doing this."
Woo! All right, maybe don't tweet out this one. Let people discover it on their own. But maybe do. I don't know. Did y'all see that thing where the two white dudes on a podcast were like, "Oh, anti-heroes," but they had Homelander down in the bottom. Did you see that? And people were like, "This makes so much sense."
Dude, I saw like that post. It was like anti-villain or like anti-hero supremacy. And it was just literally all movie villains. Like it wasn't not a single anti-hero in the bunch. like just all
the Joker.
All terrible people.
Like, Homelander as the anti-hero is insane. That is
people don't know what anti-hero means.
The amount of people that think that Homelander may be a good guy is staggering.
That's why the writing is so good.
Show, and I can tell you that it's not
That's
true.
why the writing is so good, because when Homelander went on TV and was basically like,
"No, but if you have half a brain,"
people love that shit. People were like, "Yes, stand up for yourself."
If you have half a brain, you know that Homelander is not a good guy.
A lot of people who watch that show / live in America do not have half a brain. They fucking love Homelander.
Yeah. Anything that we're watching really quick, and then we'll log off. My wife and I binged like half of season 2, all of season 3, and then a couple episodes of season 4 in a day of Stranger Things. We did like we didn't do
good
shit.
job.
It was insane. We were just like, let's just keep going. Then it was like midnight. We're like, oh, okay.
I feel like I'm gonna be peer pressured to catch up eventually, but I'm gonna let the wave die down a little bit before, like, when people aren't tweeting spoilers, so I still don't know what they mean, and then come back to it later. But yeah, I've been watching just a bunch of random shit. There's a new movie on Hulu, came out a couple days ago, called The Princess. It sounded like it was gonna be some bullshit, but it was actually pretty fun. It's like a rated R action movie. Fucking Joey King is out here like stabbing dudes in the face and shit. It's dope.
The princess of Hulu. She's in every Hulu movie.
It's great.
I watched half of episode 1 of that Chris Pratt show. Yeah.
I watched episode 1. I'm probably gonna watch episode 2 just to see, like, but
Terminal List, I believe it's called.
Yeah, it's called Terminal List, Prime Video.
Like, I don't like. What did somebody tweet the other day that nobody was like? I'm very uninterested in Chris Pratt, unironic action star.
It's just all. I just don't.
No irony in his action is like he's not a good enough actor to not be. We said this.
UFC legend Donald Cerrone is in that show. He's like real good friends with Chris Pratt. That's how we got on the show. That's all I know about that show. I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I will not encourage people to start that show yet. Oh, Apple TV Plus, this Maya Rudolph show. It's called Loot. Really good. Check it out.
Someone told me yesterday that show was good. Just yesterday, I need to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically playing Bezos' ex-wife in the show.
Nice.
But it's a comedy. It's Maya Rudolph, obviously, and it's really good so far. I think there's like 3 or 4 episodes out right now, but it's funny. First episode's a little slow. Second and third episode, great.
I'm watching The Old Man. I just started The Old Man, which is pretty good. And I'm gonna get into The Bear. Everybody says The Bear is good. I'm gonna start that this week.
Yeah, people say that shit is amazing. I'm gonna check that out.
Not even low key, but FX might have the best original content this side of HBO.
Yep, I agree.
FX is good.
Yeah,
they haven't missed yet for me. Actually, they did. I'm lying. Impeachment was a miss for me, but other than that,
but most of the original stuff that they put out, and they know when to kind of like, except for Always Sunny, which is in its like 15th season, they know when to just like stop shows too. They're just
Except
like,
for
yeah,
that,
we're not.
there's a new Sons of Anarchy spinoff and another one coming. They need to stop that shit. Those shows are not good enough to justify their own existence.
Mayans or whatever it is.
Yeah, no one wants to see that shit, FX. But FX puts out heat, bro. Heat.
Yeah. And now that they have Hulu, they can just do more mature stuff as well. Which is what
don't sleep on Hulu, bros. Hulu is having one hell of a summer.
I got to pay for no commercials. I'm tired of that though. I can't do it. I can't do
it.
I
don't
think I can do it anymore. I'm dying. I'm literally dying.
Yeah. Hello Fresh at like 1,000 volume. No thanks. Like I'm good.
Haven't watched a Hulu commercial in 2 years.
I'm about to join you, brother. I work
me.
too hard to watch these fucking Hulu commercials any longer, bro. I'm about to.
Hey, honestly, bros, I'm on that YouTube Premium shit now. I had the 3-month free
trial.
Oh
my god!
I'm never going back.
I'm so tired. 2 ads every single video.
I had a 3-month free trial of YouTube Premium. I'm like, I'm never going back. I don't care how much it costs. Like, I'm never watching an ad again.
I was watching the Usher Tiny Desk, and they put an ad in the middle of the song, right in the middle. I'm like, why not do it between songs? It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. They put it in the middle of the song, and I said, YouTube, y'all gonna try to make me pay for premium. I'm not gonna do it. I refuse to do it. I refuse.
I respect that, but hey, bro, it's better over here. I promise.
I'm gonna break on the Hulu eventually, but the YouTube made like this has been free forever. Like you know what I mean? Like it's been free since 2005. Anyway, so that has been a One Take podcast. Hopefully, we'll still be on the air next week. The next week we are doing our next episode whenever we can record. It's going to be Big Thor hours.
Let's go.
Early reviews have already dropped for Thor. Middling reviews, mixed reviews. 72% I think right now on Rotten Tomatoes as of the time of this recording. Dex gets to see it before all of us because he's cool, I guess. So yeah, next will be Thor, and then we'll kind of have to work our way from there to see what comes after that. But yeah, so you can follow us on One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Go follow Apollo HOU on TikTok. A lot of movie content over on Apollo HOU on TikTok, as well as all the social platforms, Apollo HOU on Twitter, Instagram, the like. Rate, download, subscribe on all podcast platforms. You can do that. We know you can do. We know there are more of you listening to this than have given us reviews.
Yeah,
how dare you?
5 stars, bro. Why are you being greedy with the stars? It don't cost you nothing. Give us 5 stars.
You, just like YouTube. It shouldn't cost you anything. But yeah, give us 5-star review. Dex, what else you working on for the website or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Thor review after I see it tomorrow. Hopefully get that up by the time y'all are listening to this. We got new shirts on the store, ApolloHOU.store. We got a Real Cinema Hours t-shirt out there, and we got a couple Watch Movies t-shirts up there. So yeah, check it out, ApolloHOU.store. Look for our shit. Use promo code OneTakePod, ONETAKEPOD, 10% off.
Teej, plug your other podcasts real quick.
Oh God, there's so many of them. I'm on a college football podcast called Slander You. It's been very fun. We basically have a different college football program every week, and we have a person that come on who represents that program in some capacity, usually as a fan, and then we slander the shit out of that team. It's been very fun so far. Check that out. It's called Slander You. I'm on a UFC podcast that's called Underhooks Pod. If you like the UFC, tap in with us. It's great, and UFC has been extremely fun this year, extremely crazy. So it's a fun time. And tap in. You're not tired to hear my voice yet, which you might be. Tap in.
See, we got him on this one podcast, and then he decides that he's like, oh, this shit is easy. I'm going to go do 18 podcasts.
This podcast is very easy unless we do movies like Elvis, in which case then it becomes hard.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
I got the slander Prince, though, so it was all worth it.
He fucking wanted to slander Prince. That's the problem.
Little Domino, like One Take Podcast, watches the Elvis movie. Big Domino. Dex slanders Prince.
Big Domino, Apollo HOU shuts down its website.
Yeah, we get fucking DMCA'd for playing Luke Bryan.
I've been playing unlicensed music the entire intro and outro of these things for 2 years. Nobody's found this shit yet. We don't got enough listeners, but yeah, we appreciate those of you who do listen. Go follow One Take Pod. And Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh, baby. Don't worry, darling. Coming out November, I think. Whenever it is. Go see that shit.
All right. And we, are